What is up, guys, and welcome to today's video. For this one, we will be looking at the Carabao Cup clash between Manchester United and Newcastle United taking place on the 1st of November. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. The last time the two sides met was in April on the 2nd in the Premier League last season, with Newcastle coming out as 2-0 victors. The scoring was opened in the 65th minute thanks to Willock. The ball is played through the United defense and then knocked over them, and a header at the far post manages to get it into the back of the net. And then the lead was doubled in the 88th minute thanks to Callum Wilson. This time similar build-up play, only from a set piece. The ball is played in aerially, gets on the back of somebody's head and into the back of the net, ending 2-0 on the day to Newcastle. We start off our team analysis with Manchester United. It is 2 losses and 3 wins in the last 5 for the Red Devils. Their last match ending in a 3-0 demolition at the hands of Manchester City. United were completely outplayed there. They were restricted. They were on the back foot for most of the game. They will be itching for a bit of payback. I think a player who's really going to be important if they are to achieve that is going to be Andre Onana. Now, Onana's had a lot of criticism leveled at him so far this season because he came in with some very, very big expectations placed on him, and so far he hasn't really managed to live up to those expectations. A decent performance last weekend in the Premier League where he saved a penalty, I think it was, but this time against Manchester City he was there to make some important blocks, but he wasn't important enough to shut City out altogether. Mind you, there was a penalty as well involved in that, and it was very difficult for him. But I think Onana needs to be more assertive in the Manchester United box. I think that's something that is lacking. Next up, I want to talk a player who plays in front of Onana, Harry Maguire. Now, Harry Maguire's had just as much, if not more, criticism leveled at him as Onana. But so far it's okay for Harry Maguire this season. 1 goal, 1 assist. Some very, very important performances. Between him and Onana, they were actually the 2 best players on the pitch for Manchester United against City. So that says a lot considering they lost 3-0. But I think Maguire is starting to come into his own at Manchester United. It's just the consistency that just has not been there for both of these players. And finally, I want to talk another player who's been struggling consistency, Marcus Rashford. It's just a goal and 3 assists so far for him. And that's just not good enough. I mean, Rashford was a player that, in all honesty, I think people expected to be competing for maybe Ballon d'Or, or maybe, even the best player in the Premier League titles by now, and it just hasn't come to fruition. Coupled with the fact that everybody else has been playing so well, but Rashford has been so erratic. And he really, really needs to find a bit more direction. United was shut out by City, and I mean Rashford himself was left isolated and made minimal impact on the game itself. For Newcastle, it is 2 wins, 2 draws and a single loss in their last 5 matches. Their last match ending in a 2-2 draw at Wolves. Newcastle are struggling a little bit with injuries right now. I know Alexander Isak is out. And then, of course, the drama with Tonali, who has now been banned for 10 months due to a gambling addiction. That really hurts Newcastle. But Newcastle have been under pressure from the start of the season. I mean, their Champions League group that they're in. And they've done quite well. We've got to talk Callum Wilson. 7 goals so far for him. It's looking very good. I think he's going to be the outlet for them if they're looking to hit the back of the net against United. I think he's definitely going to be Newcastle's danger man. Next up, I want to talk Bruno Guimaraes. Now, I always said Guimaraes would be partnered with Tonali in that midfield, or at least the 2 of them would have each other's back. So one pushes forward, one stays back, that kind of thing, in a kind of double pivot. That obviously is not going to work now with Tonali not around. So I think Guimaraes is going to have so much more to deal with now. He's going to have to be box to box. He's going to have to be an anchor man, but he's also going to have to be an engine room. So it's he's gonna be under a lot of pressure as well, and his stamina is really gonna be called into question this season. And finally, I want to talk Kieran Trippier. Now, if Wilson has been the leading goal scorer or tied for leading goal scorer with 7 goals with Alexander Isak, Trippier is leading the way by quite some distance in terms of providing the assists at Newcastle. It's a creative force out wide. I think Trippier, starting off at Spurs and then needing a bit of time away at Atletico Madrid to just refine his talent and come back as a better player, which he has done. He's been so important to Newcastle. And I think while Wilson is going to be getting the goals, I think Trippier is going to be the creative brain behind things. So United are going to have to watch him there. Okay, on to the S3M2 verdict. Now, head to head, it is 2 wins for Manchester United, 2 draws between the two sides, and a single win for Newcastle. Um, Strangely enough, when you think about the last match, obviously being the Newcastle win, you think of the match that happened before that, which was actually the Carabao Cup final between these two sides, which United managed to win. So it's amazing that they're meeting again now in the round of 16. I think something that's also very important for us to note is the fact that Newcastle were the team that dumped Manchester City out of the Carabao Cup. I think it was a slight 1-0 victory, but it was in that period where Manchester City were just having a bit of a slump, and Newcastle were able to take advantage of that. I think if you also consider the fact that Tonali is now banned for quite a few months, it means that Newcastle might be stretched a little bit in that department. But also you gotta think of the matches that Newcastle have after this. The fact that they have to play against Arsenal this weekend, and then obviously having to play in that very difficult Champions League group next week. It's very high pressure for Newcastle right now. And then at United, you just think that they were just subpar against Manchester City. United still till now is a club that is dominated by off the field politics and drama with players in the dressing room. I'm gonna side with Newcastle on this one, to be honest. I do think Manchester United have the quality to pull off an upset here, but I just think, the slump that they're in right now, it's more of an issue with players up front. Players up front are just not performing, they're not getting it. You can see the void left open with the absence of Casemiro. United just don't look solid in midfield right now, and it's sad because they don't look solid up front, they don't look solid in midfield. It's not looking good for United when you're thinking that Andre Onana and Harry Maguire are the best players in a 3-0 defeat. So I'm gonna side with Newcastle on this. I think they get it done by maybe a goal or two. I think United do have an opportunity to make something happen here, because again, you got to consider priorities, and this for some reason is a trophy that Manchester United have been prioritizing in recent years, possibly just to add to their silverware. But I think when it comes to Newcastle, they're looking at the bigger picture instead. And I think, again, just knowing that they've been stretched, I think United are putting all of their eggs in one basket with this one. So if it doesn't work out, it's going to be chaotic. But I do just think that Newcastle have just a little bit everywhere. They're on good form so far. Players are scoring. They might be looking a bit shaky at the back, but I think that regardless of the fact that they might concede against Manchester United, I just think Newcastle have enough to see it out and to maybe score more than they concede. Hi, thank you for making it to the end of this video. We really appreciate the watch time and the fact that you took some time out of your day to spend it with us talking about the sport that we all love. If you enjoyed the content, why not, drop a like down below or comment in the comment section. Maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. And I mean, while you are here right now, have a look at some of our old videos too. They should be appearing on the screen right now, along with that subscribe button. So you know exactly what to do. Thank you so much. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And have a great day out there. And we hope to see you again very soon. Thanks. Stay safe.